We did it.
You did it, Adam. Always do it.
It was well, Christy did it. It was unplug it and plug it back in scenario.
I physically did it.
And but let's just cross our fingers and hope that did it. It's just like an NES. You just blew in it, and now it's working.
That's IT 101, right? We covered that today. IT 101 is just turn it off and turn it back on again.
Welcome to Literarily Wasted.
We're here.
We are here.
It's August.
It is August, and this is our final live discussion for Stormfront by Jim Butcher, the first book in the Harry Dresden files.
Just Dresden files.
The Harry Dresden files.
Just Dresden files.
Just the Dresden files.
Yeah, it says it right there.
So welcome, and thanks everybody for hanging out while we had that little screen on that said, it will start soon. Brian Craig, your comment, it worked. Thank you for joining us on YouTube. We're glad you're here. So yeah, let's do some shout outs. We got Sarah in here, Matt's here, Svera's here, Tammy, Rebecca. Oh, that's me. Dan, Omaki over there on YouTube.
Philip, Justin, Victoria, Lisa, Kimberly, Randy. Oh wait. I need the records.
Mike,
Justin, Philip,
Dan,
Bobby, Vicky.
Yay, everybody. We're so happy.
I think I just said Jolie. Sorry, Julie. I was trying to talk fast. It didn't work.
The Harry Files. I guess
the Harry Files.
Call it that.
I like it. Does everyone have your pizza?
Ate it already? Yeah. I'm not.
There's some pizza. It's got a little crispy on the bottom, but it's still good.
We had pizza over the weekend.
We did. It was delicious. So, man, what an exciting second half of the book. Do we want to just jump right in? And Christy, do you have a recap, or should we just like try to summarize it or whatever?
Since it's the end of the book, I really don't feel like a recap is needed.
Okay.
Except for the people who might have kept reading.
But I mean, the story totally finished. Like the next book is a completely different story.
It did, and it ended on like a very like empowering, like I am Harry Blackstone and Copperfield Dresden, and there's like I could hear.
I'm gonna call back to how I introduced myself at the beginning of the book.
I could hear the voiceover in the movie, like seeing him standing on top of a building like Batman with his duster floating in the thing, and the Dresden symbols in the sky. Whatever
Lisa
that is.
Travis, sorry, I just thank you for popping in, Lisa, and please stay safe. She says they're in full-on hurricane prep, so she can't get around.
Yeah, if any of you are in the eye or the line of the storm,
well, they've all evacuated.
In Louisiana.
If you
storm, we're crossing the hurricane streams down there. It's bad.
Yeah.
So y'all
2020.
Be safe.
Yeah, let's get right into it. So when we left off, where did we leave off? The first half.
Harry Dresden had just got unconscious on
Murphy's floor, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
So
head getting smacked.
We just learned about Third Eye, the drug. Right?
Yeah, that's right. So like I don't know, like if we want to just sort of say like our thoughts, I want to just say that like I feel like the second half of the book was like the first half of the book was like the roller coaster. The second half of the book was like, whoa! Like,
yeah, it went really fast.
Because it was.
Ooh, Heather.
Oh yeah, Heather's in on the Dresden Files.
He is dorky.
He is dorky.
Hey, you can be attractive and dorky at the same time.
It's true. Oh well, thank you.
You're such a dork. Sorry.
Well,
anyway.
Okay.
Look, when I point, hold on, I'm pointing this way too.
There you go.
This is.
It's like it's me.
Dorky is as dorky does, Sarah. That's right.
But yeah, this book, like, talk about like action packed. This guy.
A lot of naked people.
Yeah, naked people. This guy could take a licking and keep on kicking, even whilst naked.
Yeah.
Gross.
This guy went on a date. She's seen everything, and he's having to save her life for how long were they in that circle? Like 8 hours?
No, she said it could. She asked when is sunrise, and he's like 10 hours, and I was like, I literally went, oh my god.
No, Bob remember he released Bob, and
That's
Bob
right.
threw him
That's
the
right.
other potion, so
Right,
they were able to get
but
out.
otherwise, before he was thinking of how am I going to get
While
out
he
of
was
this.
totally naked,
No,
and then
that's the best part.
And a toad demon was spitting acid, which is not when you want to be naked.
Because he reiterates multiple times that he literally has gotten out of the shower, soap in his eyes,
which that's terrible.
butt naked, and that entire scene. And then, oh, by the way, she drank his love potion, so she is literally trying to
Jump his back.
Get on him
in the circle with the hell demon. Right, that was probably my favorite part of the entire book. I don't want to jump ahead, but I thought that part was so funny. And then even with the ending where she's like, "Not bad, Harry," and she slaps him on the ass and goes on her merry way.
Okay.
Yeah, that shampoo should have washed off.
That was a lot of shampoo.
I don't know, man. Like I like making it super foamy frothy, and then you pile it up and you have like a little thing, and it takes a while to rinse it all out.
The more
rain?
COVID goes on, the more I'm experiencing that because my hair just keeps getting longer every month.
Oh, right.
I'm shaving your sideburns and your
No, my sideburns look good.
No, I'm gonna.
But
Like,
yeah,
bro,
that was, talk about a comedy of errors. Like, I think most of Harry Dresden's life is a comedy of errors.
But he also brings it on himself a lot.
He does.
He makes really bad choices. And he doesn't like to accept help or share information with anybody.
He really doesn't. That was probably the most frustrating thing about this book for me is like his whole I'm not going to tell them anything. That reminded me of like a bad Three's Company episode where I
wanted him to talk to Corinne so bad. Her life was already in danger. Like he kept saying he was doing it to protect her, but she was already in so much danger. Like things would have been so much better if he had just told her the truth.
Yeah.
Who's Corinne? Is that Murphy?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And the audiobook pronounces it Karen, just if you want to get really messed up.
Oh yeah, that's right.
I want to call her Corinne.
But that's how it's spelled. I totally get it.
Yeah, the potion mix up. That was kind of fun, but this guy just he didn't Three's Company. They're just the whole everything could be. The show wouldn't exist if they just talked to each other. It's just just tell each other and don't assume what the other person's thinking, and then we won't be in this crazy misunderstanding where Jack Tripper's falling all over themselves.
Well, and he didn't just keep stuff from Karen. He also didn't bother telling Morgan anything, and that could have he could have gotten help the whole time if he had just trusted Morgan.
To be fair, do you think Morgan would have believed anything that he said?
Probably not.
He did tell him some.
Yeah, because I
so frustrating.
Yeah, I felt that Morgan showed up at every inopportune time, and Harry tried to, but he wouldn't listen at all until the very end.
So determined to cut his head off.
I want to see Morgan's sword. I envision that as a really badass sword.
Yeah.
We've already had some people
to be a badass
in the comments talking about.
Morgan is so dumb. Yes,
Morgan.
every time he showed up, I was like, "Quit ruining things, Morgan! Oh, get out of here!"
I mean, it's I can't even I'm trying to recap everything that happened. He went on his naked date with Susan, and
not intentionally naked.
No, he forgot about his date.
Yeah, he forgot
Back
about
up. He forgot
Okay, but he had a concussion.
he did. He got knocked around a decent amount.
And but he went. He got a call from Linda, who was like, "I want to come. I need to see you." And then turns out Linda's dead. She died the same way. Turns out that the connection between Monica and what's going on and the murders is much closer. And I kind of figured that was going to happen.
You called it, but I don't think everybody did that read it.
I knew that there had to be it turned out it was Victor all along, which isn't entirely unpredictable.
They felt. Yeah, to me, they felt pretty separate until we found out that there was an orgy thing going on at the lake house. And I was like, oh, okay, this is probably somewhat
I knew they would all be connected, but I did forget because it had been so long since I read it. Everybody has a Hoover. That's why Morgan exists. But I forgot a lot of the details and how specific. And I did. I did forget all about like how insane Victor was, and that he wasn't as novice as like intentionally suspected. I had forgotten about some of those things.
Yeah, he was actually quite experienced, at least more so than Harry had thought.
Yeah, and ew, the scorpions.
Yeah, that turned because didn't it say like so? Did I take this wrong? Is the scorpion continually growing? Because like by the end, it said it was like the size of a Doberman, right? I mean, a Doberman's a big dog. Yeah.
That was I hated it. I hated the scorpion thing. Hated it.
I thought like the chittering sounds of like them coming after you.
He described it well, and he described the toad like when he plopped and just like plops on the wet pavement, and that was I hated the scorpions too in a good way. Like it was a good good hate,
like,
right?
I'm an arachnophobic, so like like when I lived in Tuscaloosa, I would find little scorpions in my house. Those things are terrifying. Even like the little bitty ones, they're like they're scorpions.
The little bitty ones are more terrifying. My dad used to have them down in South Alabama, like at his lake house, and they were terrifying because they were tiny and they were the same exact color as mud. So when you come inside, they're like stuck in the mud and they're inside your house. And since they're so small, you don't see them until they're really close to you. Awful.
Stingy puppy.
No, not puppy. Awful. Who was it? Philip Gilfus said something great that had nothing to do. It's something about Harry being dramatic, and I think or like the varsity entrance, yes, which was fantastic. I love when he got so mad. He's like, oh, "They took my hair," and went like flew into this bar and was like, "Give me back my hair."
The varsity that was
I had a picture in a burger joint.
I did too. Yeah, we live in the South, so the varsities of Atlanta.
Greasy burgers.
But
he did that also when he went into Victor's lake house. Like he was still like blew open the doors and been like, "I'm here." And that fight with Victor, he like he was not only fighting Victor, he was fighting the Becketts, he was fighting the Scorpions, he was fighting the fire.
So the Becketts are over here doing their thing. Right, and he's
under
like,
some sort of spell, though,
and
right?
he's incanting something, and then all of a sudden they pull out like automatic, like machine guns on, and that was crazy. And I think Philip mentioned this earlier on in a comment that he felt, and Philip, correct me if I'm wrong, he felt the ending, kind of that final battle was a little hasty, rushed, and I would agree with that. I think it was just like, and boom, 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 and we're at the lake house and we're done.
It's like, look, we have to take all of these strings and tie them up into a little bow really quickly.
Yeah, it felt like that. I mean, I was ready for it, so I wasn't upset. Like by the time I got to it, I was like, all right, good. Okay, it's about time to have the final showdown, in my opinion. Like, I don't think they could have dragged that out anymore. Bud Dog, what you doing, pal?
It's so cute. Sorry.
So Matt's talking about liking Marconi as a character, and I think he was a really good and kind of different mob boss. I liked him as well,
like
Matt.
A good bad
Yeah, logic plays a factor, like you said.
And I did like the fact that he had to sort of Harry had to outsmart Victor with Matt, like, using his experience over like someone that had just
Pure
sort
power.
of like, like the way he broke the circle with the film canister before Victor could explode his heart out. That was neat. And the thing that I wished there was more of, and he did do this a little bit as he, we got through the story, but I didn't feel like the callbacks were there. Like, like things were happening, and I would have just liked to see something like from earlier pay off later in the magic sense. Like, he set up like what circles are and all that, but like, he's just kind of using magic and we're just supposed to go along with it. But there's not enough like, aha. So that's why.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I could see that. I did really like the storms, because I was wondering how does storm front, how does this play in? Because I know Jim Butcher uses titles as kind of plays on words too. But I really did like that thought of like, oh, like the storm enhances the energy and he can channel it. And that was a really awesome, like, again, I go back to the demon scene where he's outside of his apartment in the streets of Chicago. This girl is barfing on the sidewalk, and he's butt naked with his staff in his hand, fighting this toad demon, summoning this lightning and just blowing it up.
2 potions.
Yeah. So I mean, it's just. But no, Adam, I agree with you that there wasn't that kind of like, oh, it was this all along.
And I felt like, and I'm just, I'm kind of jumping around here. You have a lot of talking points and stuff, but like, I felt like Susan, there was no payoff there either. Like, I'm looking for things to sort of come full circle, and the date with Susan happened, and she was just like, this is going to make a great story. And then in the epilogue, he was like, she wrote her story. I'm like, why was this there?
and he didn't need a love potion, and that wrapped that up. And I was kind of hoping that Toot Toot, right, would come back more than just like a little epilogue thing too, where it's like, yeah, and I ordered pizza for a week and had them delivered on the side of the road. I was kind of hoping there would be a little bit more magical creature interaction at the house.
Yeah, so we've got a lot of solid. I mean, Tally's got to bite her. She's biting her tongue because she's
biting her tongue. She's read far ahead.
So I'll just say one thing, and then I'm gonna hand it over to Christy, who has all of the things. My main feeling about this after rereading it for the first time in a really long time, after reading the whole series up to, I have not read the most recent book that came out. Oh my god, I have not read the most recent book that came out this past month because I just haven't had time, and I really did want to reread the entire series before I got to it because I've forgotten so much. But my overall impression with this book was, honestly, I got annoyed. I found some parts. I found I don't want to say just disappointed, but I legit got kind of annoyed. And I think it's because I really do enjoy how this series progresses. And I like who Harry becomes. And I like how Jim's writing changes. And so honestly, I'm so glad. I really didn't know before our last discussion. We had talked about how this was his first book and he wrote it so young. And that was information that I looked up right before the discussion. I hadn't known it before. But now I just feel like I can't mentally let go of it. I know and I can see it. And I got so annoyed that I was like, oh my gosh, any chance he had to put a pretty lady in here, any chance he had to put flirting in here, any chance he had to put sex, any chance he had to put nudity.
He had lots of chances.
Well, that's the thing though. He created all those opportunities. And I was like, this is just, it felt really cheap and easy. And I'm going to be really harsh because I do enjoy this whole series. So the whole point is this book, honestly, if I could now knowing this does not sell me on the series. Everything felt, and then he tied it up all in a little bow, and then he finishes and he's like, yeah, I'm Harry Dresden, and this is the end of my first detective case that I'm telling you about. And I was just okay, it definitely has entertaining moments. I'm not saying I didn't enjoy reading it, but it also just felt very chintzy, naked, sex, fun mystery book, whatever. And I didn't super care about it. That being said, it's because in comparison, I know how much deeper the series gets. He becomes a real person instead of this cartoon character, and the writing gets better, and there isn't an orgy in every other book. And I'm glad, because honestly, if every other book in the series were just like this, where it's here, let me tell you about this one case, open, close, open, close, open, close, then I wouldn't have enjoyed it. But they're not. His writing style changes, the story changes, and the people change. And that's why I enjoyed it. I know that was about the whole series and not the book, but anyways.
But this first book was enough to hook you the first time. And I remember you talking about, because you got this from a friend.
Well, yeah, and
as
it was
a gift.
Also there was in a period of time where I was searching very hard for new things to read, and I desperately that was something that we talked about before we started this book club, is I didn't know how to find new books, and so I found a book, and I was like, hey, I didn't hate this. It's something brand new by someone I've never heard of, so I'm gonna go read everything else, and that's when I started to get super sucked in. Yeah, no, that's fair. I don't expect people to love the series based off of this book, because honestly, this book doesn't sell the series, in my opinion.
Well, that's good to know. That's fair.
Well, Christy has she told me
I'm
some
done.
thoughts
Yeah.
on Jim Butcher, right?
Oh, well, just based on this book, I'm not sure if me and Jim Butcher would be friends where he was when he wrote this book. Like, the whole book, like constantly, I was just thinking, what kind of person wrote this? And I mean, it's entertaining, but like I kept reading. I'm on book 3 actually, but I don't think I'd like him in real life, or at least not where he was when he wrote this book, which was, I know, a long time ago.
I'll tell you what she told me. She's like, Jim Butcher seems like the kind of college kid that thinks like long hair and trench coats are cool, and like he just wanted to like put.
We all went to school with those dudes. We all still are friends with one of them.
It's like he's always talking about people's long hair, and he mentions that like.
Morgan's ponytail was mentioned at least 3 times in this book for some reason.
That duster, the duster that he wears, which I could have looked that up. What is a duster?
I think it's just a trench coat.
It's like it's like that, but it's like a trench coat that's got like the layer. So it's more like so it's more like a Western, like a high neck, and it's got that like layer here across the back. Yeah, it's more like a cowboy type jacket. Yeah.
It's a super long, billowy trench coat with like the little shoulder cape thing to help keep the rain off of you.
It's like it's like that goth kid that goes to Wilson's Leather at the mall and drops $500 on a leather duster.
This isn't leather.
Well, still.
Oh, Matt. Yeah, well, and I totally understand that. And like I know that like he wrote this for college. He was in college when he wrote it, and I mean, that makes a huge difference about what kind of book it was. And I think he wrote it for himself, and that really shows. But
Justin made a point earlier that, like he said, I could see it in him that he has the potential to be a good writer. And I agree with that. Like, there were like, it wasn't just like surface level. Like he was developing characters, and he had, an interesting style. And I think that like, there's
good
definitely
pacing.
Like a higher, like you could tell the ceiling is high for him as an author. And if this is his first book, and he could write well.
Yeah. Well, I'm really excited to see like how he does evolve, because I've heard over and over again that the series evolves and the characters evolve, and that's really exciting. And he also has that fantasy series, The Furies of Calderon, that I'm really interested in reading too.
Let me be clear. I'm not saying that every single book in the rest of the series is a winner. It's a long series, and I would like anyone in the world to point out a series of this length where every single book is a winner, because they don't exist. I love The Wheel of Time, but there are some stinkers in there. So so it's the same thing. You're gonna have, it's just like any good TV show. There are some, like what is it in Community? They talk about the gas leak year. Everyone has one.
Yeah.
So it's the same, but I do, and Vicky's she keeps saying all you fans pushing the rest of the series seems sus. Yeah. Sorry.
So Heather said, Jim said himself that Summer Night is the one he considers his first good book. He actually is a cool guy. It's super nice to his fans. He comes to Dragon Con. I remember last year when we were at Dragon Con, the four of us, we actually saw him, and I didn't really put 2 and 2 together because we were still early in our journey.
Christy,
but
he was right there next to us when we were looking
yeah,
at
he had
us.
and t-shirts and stuff.
Yeah.
He was a table over the whole
and
time.
he was signing like merch and stuff at this like jeweler. They had brought him in at this jewelry booth, and yeah, he seemed very approachable just from my limited like at a glance interaction. But it wasn't like he was cordoned off from the masses. He was like 2 feet away from me.
That's when I was getting my Turian Grail necklace. For all you nerds out there who know what that is. That's right.
What?
I don't know what that is. That from?
It's from the Wheel of Time series.
Okay.
I got it.
Christy got it.
I got it.
Thank you.
Have you
I got the Dream Turian Grail.
I'm about to start the last book.
So Christy, I want to back up to what you said. So you said you've worked to the 3rd book. What would you say to those people that are on the fence of like, yeah, I'm done after this one? Because to me, if I had gone to the beach this year, this would have been a perfect beach read for me. His pacing, I think his pacing is one of the best things about his writing because it kept me going. Every chapter ends with something exciting that wants you to keep going. So I kind of want to know, in your opinion, like, if you're in the third book now, are you inclined to keep going, or what's your kind of feeling there for those people that are like, no, I'm done?
Okay, so
mac and cheese.
Heather actually commented earlier
Yeah,
that
we put that one
I
up there
know
already.
that he said that himself that Summer Night is the one he considers the first good book.
Yeah.
That's not the second or the third book.
Yeah, it's the fourth. It's the fourth book.
It's the fourth book. Okay.
The second book was fine. I mean, it wasn't bad, but it was fine. And the third book, I am taking a break from, but I'm getting back to it after this month because I couldn't do the first and the third in the same month.
Jeff Moore, ouch. He said, to those of you pitching the rest of the series, how many poop sandwiches would you eat just because someone says stick with it after a few they start to taste better, I promise. I'm not saying they're poop sandwiches. I'm just saying sometimes you want unicorn mac and cheese. And
it hits a spot with some spicy chicken nuggets.
I mean, sometimes you want Arby's. Do you regret it later? Yeah. But when it's happened, you're like,
yeah, I'm down for this, Arby's.
I mean, I think you also have to be in the right place for the next books too. Because like I started the third book and I clearly wasn't. It wasn't the right time for me. But I'm gonna go back later. But yeah,
I have like 3 different books that I have started right now and not.
it's hard to start books right now. I've partially started like 8 of them lately.
I just can't.
Yeah.
I literally one.
Now we
Oh
have
my
to
God.
pay grease money.
Part of it,
Yeah, right.
Part of it is this book club talk. So
So
I haven't finished the second book in the Shades of Magic trilogy. I haven't finished the second book in the Pooh Boy trilogy. I'm in the second book of Stormfront or the Dresden Files again. So yeah, like what and where how? Like I gotta sleep at some point.
living the life.
See, I don't think that this book is a poop sandwich. Like,
No, it was entertaining. It really was, but you just have to accept it for what it
was.
is.
Yeah, it was like
Arby's.
it was me making like a whole thing of bacon and eating it. It's
that sounds great.
Yes.
It's
This is exactly how I feel. I agree with Mike. This is my book on the side.
Yeah, it's good. It was, it was fun. It was, there were some questionable things about it. Like the sexism and the way Harry thought about
just
women.
a little.
When was this published again?
Just a little. But like,
when was it published again?
In
2002 or something.
Okay.
2000.
There's
2000.
some things I disagree with about it, but like, as a story, like it was fine.
In the year 2000. I just really needed to get it out.
See, listen, I compare it to a plate of bacon because like I
Jeff
love
is
bacon.
coming after you now.
I love bacon, and I would I'm telling you, like a plate of bacon is fine, but if I took like a whole thing of bacon and made it and ate it all, I would feel bad afterwards.
But he would still do it.
But
he
I
would still eat
do
the
it.
whole
And I
plate of
would-
bacon.
But I think of it just like TV because I know some people are bringing up the TV show, which I never saw, and honestly, I don't want to at all. I have absolutely zero desire to watch the show. But don't we all hasn't everyone at some point in their life watched all of a TV show that you would be embarrassed to admit to your friends that you really watched all of and enjoyed that TV show? Because you know that it's like
enjoyed it.
It's not
two different things.
or like for like a weird way. I'm not saying like, oh, I really loved the show and it was really great, but you watched all of it. But if your friends were like, hey, what show are you watching right now? And you'd be like,
yeah, no. So I watched.
You still did it. Like
I watched. I am ashamed to say this, but I watched every single episode of Heroes. And
all of them?
yeah, I stuck with it. I watched the whole series. I don't know why it wasn't good, but I did it.
Yeah, it's like sometimes you just want to watch the bad TV show.
Well, it's like Jenny says. Like Jenny's going back to school right now, and she appreciates that it's a quick read. And I felt the same way because after coming off of 100,000 Kingdoms, which was just a little heavy for me at the time, I don't know why, this was really nice to have an 8-hour audiobook that just snapped every single chapter. I do wish in the audiobook they announced the chapters because I didn't know when the exact cutoff was. But that was nice. It was nice for me to have a little bit shorter, succinct, like
Listen,
You should.
mindless.
I am very aware of this. I was aware of this while I was watching the show, but there was like a part of me that was like, it's gonna get better, but it did not.
I love that people are now saying the TV shows.
The OC, we
we
saw Dawson's Creek, Strangers with Candy.
Yeah, Heroes is my like. Why did I watch it? Why? They were in a carnival. What are we doing? What is this show? That's a perfect example of somebody just is like when stuff comes out of your mouth before it hits your brain. That's what Heroes was.
But Adam, look, it's a testament to the good ideas that you have creatively, because look at the crap that gets produced out there, and you have way better ideas than that.
Well, thank you. I'm gonna remake Heroes. No, they did that already.
Okay. Asked a really good question. She said, for all of you recommending the rest of the series, would it be out of place to read a random one out of order? If you had to pick just one, which would you recommend to redeem Butcher's name? Okay, so here's the toughie, because it hits a point, and I don't know exactly where it is, but it hits a point in the series where they're not, this is like one case, open, shut, you're done. It does not stay that way. There is a place, and it's pretty early on in the series, where from then on, the story does continue throughout each book. Almost each book ends on a cliffhanger. Continuity is incredibly important if you want to understand what's going on. If you don't care, then, read whatever. But if you actually want to know, sorry, Brittany, if you want to understand what's going on, you really do have to read them in order. They're not like case files.
That's good to know.
Yeah, no, for sure. And it starts to get way more complex because he does start to create like real backgrounds and histories and continuing stories for these characters. It gets better.
So Justin asked, like, what would Jim Butcher think if he reread Stormfront? And I really wonder that too. But there's a live discussion. Well, there's a discussion between him and I think Patrick Rothfuss about Stormfront that I saw floating around. It's like an hour long. I did not watch it, but it could be interesting, huh?
Watch it after this.
Do you know from when? Do we know how long ago it was?
I don't remember.
Someone said that they were D&D partners in the comments, and I guess that's true. I could see that.
It was a cough.
Oh, I was like,
it's not COVID.
Okay.
So speaking of all the TV shows, I don't know if anyone hit on this yet, but has anyone watched the Dresden Files?
They were talking about that earlier. It was
really?
had one season on Sci-Fi. I don't know if anybody mentioned that they watched it.
How does it compare? Or did you like it or did you not like it? And my mom watched it and she loved it. And so she was really excited to read this book.
We met him.
We did meet him. He's really cool.
Who's the actor that played Harry?
Yeah, we met him at DragonCon. What's his name?
I forgot it now, but I knew it before.
I'm really
you asked
bad
me.
with names.
Jim Butcher.
Cast himself. I was going to say like somebody Blackstone, but that's not right. That's
that's
Paul Blackthorne is what his name is.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, that's a good name.
I do want to address Rebecca said a couple minutes ago, and I missed it. She said she finds my comments interesting because I was so excited that this book was picked. I'm still excited. Like, even though like reading this, honestly, this book gives me some cringiness for real.
Terrible.
But I'm so excited because I really do love the rest of the series. And the next book comes out next month, and I'm going to be super excited for that one too. I'm still happy that this was this month's choice, for real, because honestly, I've never really gotten to talk to anybody about this. I have some cool pictures from Chicago that are mentioned later in the series for other people who keep reading. But no, like I will admit, like going back and rereading this, I had some definite cringe moments.
There's some cringe moments in Twilight.
Some?
Yeah, I'm just saying, like,
there's a lot of
to me, it's kind of like,
there's cringe moments in almost every book.
So Angela loved it.
Oh.
Only very loosely on the books. So
yeah, Brian said that discussion was this year, so that's really exciting.
Someone post the link.
Yeah,
to
Brian,
it
if you
in
can
the
find that link
rounds.
on YouTube, post that
Is
into
this
our.
a good comparison?
I think only you would know. I mean, I
You
do
would know
now,
too.
actually.
Ooh, he's
So-
so pretty without the beard. I know
So-
that's mean. I'm sorry.
What season does he get the beard, Adam?
He gets the beard in season 2, but the show doesn't really get good until season 3.
Okay. Wait, let's go back to the book. Let's go back to
Sorry.
the reason we're here.
Yes, ma'am.
But that's where we're saying the books get better, is in like book 3, 4, 4.
Well, that's what Heather said. Summer Nights. Nights with a K-N-I-G-H-T-S.
Yeah. So
Nice.
on the discussion topics post in Facebook, Shimzy, sorry if I mispronounced that, said, and this is ironic, I've been thinking about the idea that being able to pronounce someone's name in the way they pronounce it is powerful. I mean, magic aside, people's names do hold value, and it's nice to see it represented in this way. And I love that. I read that and I just got the feels like this is so good because it really is so powerful to pronounce people's names the way they pronounce them. And I think that's overlooked a lot of the time, especially when Talia said Corinne earlier. It's clearly not Corinne.
Oops.
Or
It's a
Thalia.
Yeah, exactly.
It does come back to play. Yeah, no, if that were like a legit thing, no one would ever have
Talia.
any power over me because no one in the South and no one in the North, no one ever pronounces my name right.
Yeah.
So I for sure would be.
We're talking about the part where he had to how he freed the demon at the end by
That was cool. That was
Yeah.
he heard the name. Yeah.
Victor, because Victor is very, very strong, but he's a newbie dum-dum, so he didn't know all the rules.
Well, also when Morgan said Harry's full name and Harry was horrified that it was very close to how he says it himself. And you could just tell the importance just by how he reacted to hearing it that way. I think that's such a cool thing.
yeah.
Oh yeah,
That's fair. I say your name different every time. I'm sorry.
And we
we're
questioned
protected. We
that.
can't control it.
Every time.
Yeah.
And Jay commented too that no one gets his last name right.
Yeah,
So Jay, if y'all could phonetically, please. 'Cause sometimes we're offline and we're like, "Are we saying their names right?" I'm like, "I think so,"
Yeah.
because it'll
Let's
correct
assume
us.
that the S is silent and it's Ver.
Yeah, Kara has a good point.
Oop, missed it.
Wait, what?
Oh, where?
Where?
Yeah.
Yeah, no.
Yeah.
You just said that.
No, and I
Yeah.
know it's super ironic, but it was a great, great discussion topic.
I hope your name is Kira because that's how I read it in my head.
We probably butchered yours too.
Because I went to school with a girl named Kira. She was super cool. Sorry.
Yes, there's also a major in Deep Space Nine named Kira.
Yeah,
Okay.
no, everyone in the South calls me Talia.
So everyone comment with the phonetic spelling of your name
Yeah.
in
Yeah.
the comments. Thank you. We love you all.
Well, so that one time we went to lunch and someone didn't know what your name was. And it was the weirdest thing because Adam, it's literally like, if you want to be biblical, it's like the first
Dom?
name. Asked him what his name was, and he was like, "It's Adam." And the guy went, "Adam." It was the weirdest moment. I tried so hard. Julie was there. That was when we were having lunch with Julie, and the dude was just like, "Adam," and I was like, "I've never heard someone say that word that way."
Yeah, it was like we were speaking a different language or something.
It was so funny.
So yeah, we want to know how to say everybody's names so that we can free you from
And we can control
the
you.
demon spell.
Martin typed his name and just put
Martin.
Martin.
Thank you.
That was spelled.
Another big one.
Woo.
The overall feeling this book gave off, whether you hated it or thought it was mediocre, there were some big themes and feelings. Page 213 on the Kindle, which I read. Have you ever felt despair, absolute hopelessness? Have you ever stood in the darkness and known deep in your heart and your spirit that it was never, ever going to get better?
Yeah.
Yeah, that was heavy.
That's why we have book club.
Yeah. Well, and someone else posted like their favorite quotes from this book, and they were all so good. That was on the Facebook page earlier. I didn't write them down, but like there's some really great lines in this book.
Yeah, I mean, if you could say anything, is that Harry Dresden has personality.
Yeah.
For better or for worse. Like he's got personality. He's got a he's got his own thoughts. He's got like a viewpoint on like life, and he's been kicked in the butt more than he's just
and he's pretty cunning. I mean, when you think about how he got through the end of the book with the photographer and with a lot of stuff, he was just making stuff up on the fly, white lying, and be like, yeah, well, I know all about this. And it's like, oh no, you do? And so like, I mean, this dude literally is just like a grip it and rip it personality. And I kind of like that about him. Like he stumbles into everything and he gets by, and there's something just kind of nice about that, to know that you know, it's hard to get through life like that, but he did. He literally just he BS'd his way through half of the end conversations and just called their bluff. Like, I mean, he'd be good at poker. Like he said at some point, I forget who he said, he's like, someone has a horrible poker face because he could tell right away they were lying. Oh, it was when he went into the varsity.
This is an interesting comment, Vanessa and Josh. When he opened his third eye at the end and was like looking through the house, and he was like pushing back the darkness as it receded into like that to me was, I almost felt like I was reading a different book when we got to that. Oh, meow.
Our new friend.
I almost thought I was reading a different book because it went, you know, clearly, like he's opening his third eye, he's looking through a different lens, and it was just so different. It was so interesting. It was so like magical.
Yeah, no, it was because he didn't want to see the demon or Victor, right?
Yeah, because God, can you imagine what he says? Like, he was glad he didn't have to see them. He didn't want to know what they looked like. But I thought it was a really, really great way to show, like, when he did have his third eye open, like, it was a really amazing way to show the effect that all of this black magic that Victor has been doing has on the environment, you know, like it's not just like you do black magic and you like can be unscathed, you know.
Sorry.
No, there's just a cat butt.
Cat butt. Well, and how screwed up is it? So when he goes to confront
Justin,
what's Victor's wife's name? What's Victor's wife's name?
Monica.
When he goes to confront Monica, like, how screwed up is that? And he made her take the third eye, and like, yeah, how do you go back to a relationship after seeing what you're become with this inner sight? Yeah, oh yeah, and that was so messed up.
What are you doing? Sorry.
Yeah.
Yeah, there was. That was. I mean, Harry, with the innate ability that he has to be able to like open mutually when you look each other in the eyes, and then like to add that on top of like the third eye thing, like he sees some stuff, and like we're joining him not at the beginning of his journey, like clearly there's history, but
we've had a couple of comments about this, and I'd love to talk about it for a minute. Like, just that Victor was way overpowered for having just recently gotten into magic. But I mean, I feel like he had no guidance. He was learning it all himself, and he had no structure or rules to guide him. And I think that kind of allowed him to get super powerful in a couple of specific things, like way more than anybody else. And like, I know that kind of rubbed a lot of people wrong, just that he was totally overpowered. But Harry had training. He had, like, it was his mentor or whatever that he ended up killing, I think it said. So when you have a mentor like that, it's parsed out to you, like all of the learning. And I think that really slowed his growth, but it gave him more structure to be able to do things. So I don't think it was so unrealistic, but Victor was really, really powerful.
He was really powerful, but he was like recklessly so.
Yeah, he was dangerous.
Because of that, though, I do agree with the people who are like, it's a plot hole that how did the White Council not know about him?
Yeah, because they can't. Well, Morgan can sense Harry's like magic use, and so why couldn't they sense Victor's?
Yeah.
Yeah, and like they should have known that, like, instead of framing Harry, they should have known that, like, this guy is breaking rules all over the place. You're the White Council. You have eyes everywhere.
But
like,
at the same time, Morgan did think it was Harry. But if he can sense when Harry does magic, and then he thinks this other stuff is Harry too, I feel like those things shouldn't have happened at the same time.
Was the Storm hiding it? Because I mean, those were his biggest acts that he's done up to that point. He's obviously doing other stuff, but it was on a much smaller scale. Morgan is a dummy.
Good point.
It's not just that he's a dummy. He's just so friggin'
He's focused.
Like,
Yeah.
so focused. That was really cute. He's so focused that, like, he just made up his mind that it was Harry and he wasn't going to see that anybody else.
But didn't Harry mention something I mean, it was kind of in passing, but didn't he say something that he wasn't able to see it too because of some reason? I don't know.
He just didn't think of it.
I don't remember that.
I took a lot of it's kind of like Lev Grossman. And, we talked to Lev Grossman about this, of how powerful in the Magicians that, not Eli, that's another, what's his book? What's his name?
I don't know. That was so many books.
Victor?
No, that's V.E. Schwab.
Vicious. What are you talking about? Oh, Quentin.
Yeah, Quentin.
Quentin.
How powerful he becomes, but I think he didn't know. I don't know if
Don't eat that.
sorry, if Jim Butcher knew that this was going to continue, so he may have been writing this that, like.
Yeah, no, this guy's one and done.
Yeah, so,
Yeah.
so I Elliot, thank you, Missy, thank you. Quentin, Elliot, no, yeah, Quentin.
Quentin was the main character.
We have too many books.
Yeah.
Too many guys and bad guys. Thank you.
Well, I think that's a great point, because I think that Jim Butcher does have to backtrack on some other things that he set up in the first book later on in the series. Like, and I've already seen a little bit of that in book 3.
Like, without spoiling anything, all I'm gonna say is I read this book and I went, Mouse?
Mouse?
Yeah.
Mickey Mouse?
No, just if you keep reading, if you know the series, I kept reading and I'm just like, oh, Mouse.
Well, if you've read, this doesn't make sense if you read
A
book 2.
swollen taste bud. What's the medical word for that?
What?
Ah, now we're making comparisons that I get.
No, stop it. Don't encourage it.
Yeah.
Two-dimensional thinking.
Something else that a lot of people had a problem with is how much, I guess, suffering Harry Dresden did, or he got beat up a lot. He got shot. He got stabbed.
Hit with a baseball bat.
Hit with a baseball bat and got a concussion. And like, that's all happened in the span of like 2 days. Is it? It's like really, really quickly.
He got punched a lot. He got his hair cut off.
Mm-hmm. So, but Scott McClellan did say that this topic is addressed in the later series. So I might be a little bit of a spoiler, but I was really happy to know that there's a reason
That he's Wolverine, basically?
that he can withstand so much. It's not just necessarily bad writing. It's that there's actually a reason. Well, no, and that made me feel so much better, because that is a hole for me.
Victor Shinzon.
What?
I don't get that.
That's a Star Trek Nemesis reference.
I didn't watch Nemesis. I don't think.
Thank you, Brian.
Mouse
I
is in
didn't
book
realize
6.
it wasn't until then. I thought it was like,
Yeah, the Mouse is a book 6 thing.
okay, then start at book 6, I guess.
So
I'm
what
just
do we find out? And don't say this yes or no definitively, but so Bob got a day off, and last time he went to a frat, like a sorority house, right? So what do y'all think? Hello.
They said though,
No.
there was like a big news story about like a big like 24-hour rager at like a fraternity house.
Oh, really? Did he say that?
Yeah, that was in the recap at the end.
So they
And that
said
Bob never like admitted to it. Yeah, but it's pretty much understood that it was him.
That he went to a rager, and
Well, I think he
And,
might have helped
he
the rager
started it.
happen.
Yeah.
Yeah.
that's fantastic.
It's
I
something
think I
similar
missed
to
that.
Yeah.
But,
Bob
old Bob.
eventually Bob eventually came home again, more or less within the 24-hour time limit, I suppose. I turned a deaf ear to rumors of a particularly wild party at the University of Chicago, which lasted from Saturday night
Oh,
to
that's
Sunday
okay.
night,
That's
and
right.
Bob
Saturday night to
honestly
Sunday night.
never mentioned it.
I love it.
And another thing in the recap that I loved was that he sent Toot Toot and his friends a pizza once a week, just as a standing thing. And I just thought that was the cutest, greatest thing.
Yeah, on the side of the road, like pizza delivery, and the poor pizza delivery boy who saw all
leave
this
it in the woods.
happen.
Yeah.
Deliver once a week and just leave it.
I feel like this would just be orgies.
Yeah, that's porn.
Yeah.
It's just
well,
porn.
and probably drugs and alcohol too, but
What? And I think it's. Sorry, Christy.
No, go ahead.
It's probably really telling that like it's probably like Bob writing this and Jim Butcher living through Bob's fantasies in college, right? Because he wrote this, in college.
Well, and to Vicky's point, a lot of there's the stereotype that like dirty old men, like once they get to a certain point, they stop caring and they just kind of go crazy a little bit. And I think that's kind of what we're seeing with Bob, just on like a bigger scale because he's
very
much
dirty
older.
and he's very old.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Very, very old.
Yeah.
So Vicky says Marconi was her favorite character.
Marconi was a great character.
He is. It's always fun when it's the same thing and we talked about this before with Thanos. It's when you have a bad guy who thinks he's a good guy. Like, that's always really interesting. Obviously, he knows he's a bad guy. He's like the mob boss, whatever. But he has a very, very strict code that he follows. And there's a reason why. And we got a peek at it. Remember, we got a peek when he met Harry's eyes. And Harry said there was something locked away in there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That terrified Harry about Marconi. And he was like, he's a dude that I don't want to mess with.
And I think I wanted more of that. Like I was so intrigued by Harry's. Well, I mean, is that all it is? Because
but I mean,
and we get more of the vampiress. I know in like either the second, I think it's the second book.
Bianca.
Bianca, yeah. So I'm sure we get more Marconi.
Oh yeah, Bianca.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, she didn't come back in this book.
These are her flabby bat boobs.
I have a terrible mental picture.
T-Rex is what I think you're doing.
Oh no! Can we get that on a shirt?
No.
New merch coming soon from Literally Wasted.
Yeah, it's just a picture of Talia doing this.
No.
Day one by.
Yeah, it's one of those that like has the like that you can like move like this, and it's a different pose. So it's like.
So Heather does confirm you definitely get more Marconi.
Oh, good.
I went like this.
For all you Well, I didn't know what that meant. I was like, you're showing off your books?
This is the shelf. It goes to right here. It starts right here at Bob. It goes from Bob to this book. That's Ready Player One right there.
Yeah, which is such a good
Ready
book.
Player One. And the next book, I already pre-ordered it.
Ready Player 2?
No,
Oh.
you pre-ordered that.
I did pre-order that.
I pre-ordered the next Dresden Files
So
book.
excited.
It comes out September 20something.
I'm a little nervous about that.
So
There's tonight's shirt. Thank you, Dan. Write that down.
Yep.
Someone remember these things.
I'm sure that we've got a file, a Dresden file. I said it.
But here, Adam.
Hey,
There,
I felt it. It
I felt
happened.
it too.
Christy doesn't high five me. Watch.
You don't get a high five for that.
I don't get a high five ever.
I've given you a high five before.
What
Christy, high five me.
doing? No.
I almost got her.
You can't steal it.
I can try. That's the only way I'm gonna get it. Okay, what else? Dresden Files. Harry Dresden. Morgan and the White Council. The White Council was something that was interesting to me. They talked about. I assumed that we were going to catch a glimpse of the White Council in this book, but we never did.
On the White Council. That's what it because like when Morgan comes back, he's like, "Yeah, you're on the White Council," and I'm like,
He's
"Part of it."
not on. Part. There's a difference.
Well, then it needs to
Stop,
be called
dumb
something
cat.
else.
Well, and I kind of got the impression that anyone who uses magic is probably part of the White
You're
Council.
part of it, yes. It's their way of like they keep tabs on everyone.
Right.
If you do magic, you have to be a part, and these aren't spoilery things. You're part of that council, but there is like the High Council of the White Council. So
Right.
The council members.
Well, I feel like we're probably going to see more of the White Council in future books as well.
But like
which could be
Harry was
interesting.
terrified of them. Like,
well, he knew Morgan was his representative, and Morgan wanted him to die.
they're very. I wanted to see I want to see exactly what a White Council member is capable of, and I'm sure we see it in some of the future books. But I was disappointed that we didn't get that.
Uh-oh.
I'd minimize it. We're back. Hey. Thank you, Adrian. I was disappointed that we didn't. Thank you, Vanessa.
oh my gosh.
Yeah, I wanted to see that. I wanted to see Harry come face to face with the White Council somehow, more than just dealing with Morgan. Because Morgan as a representative was just kind of meh.
Yeah.
Like he's not just the representative, he's the whatchamacallit. I don't remember what his title is, but there's a reason he has the sword. If someone needs their head chopped,
Yeah, he's like Judge Dredd. He is the law.
So with a ponytail.
I did love how Harry was able to wrap everything up with Victor without breaking any of the White Council's rules, and how upset that made Morgan. I thought that was kind of cute.
Oh. Caitlin says she keeps hearing White Castle instead, and now we don't have White Castle in the South.
We have
crystals, but oh my god, now I want 15 crystals. Sorry.
Hi, Katie. Thanks for popping in. But yeah, the White Council, it was just spoken of. It was just talked about, and that was a nugget. And I keep saying yeah, I want to read the next book, but I haven't done that with any of the series that we've done.
I know, me too, Adam.
This is also not a spoiler, but I am going to show this for whoever's read the series. I don't remember which book this comes into play, but this is a statue. This is a statue. I'm trying to get it to focus on the thing. No.
That's good.
This is a statue in a particular graveyard in Chicago, and the name of this famous statue is Eternal Silence. So I don't remember what book that is, but everyone who, if you know, you know. But that is actually Eternal Silence, the statue.
Wow, that's real.
And I will not. You can't tell from this picture, but it's huge. And I will admit, even though I was obviously there during the day, and I also was followed around by coyotes the entire time I was in the cemetery, which was super creepy. It is very eerie feeling when you're there.
Vicky says the White Council wasn't a nugget; it was a slider. I guess sliders have a little bit more substance than nuggets.
Well, it was definitely kind of a character. It was something that he was it was coming towards him.
It was the ticking clock.
Yeah.
The plot device, the ticking clock.
One of the ticking clocks.
Yeah. Because there was
the storm also.
Literal storm front coming in, meaning that someone was going to channel the power of, and that was really cool when he did that to destroy the troll guy.
Yeah, that was cool.
And that was a good let's pay that back. Let's let's revisit that whole thing, because that ended up being the thing that was Victor was going to use to kill him. I didn't really understand. Now that I'm thinking about it, why did he have it? I guess he had a target on his back because he was investigating the murders.
That's why Murphy had a target on his back and Marconi, but for the White Council, it's because he killed somebody.
No, with Victor. Victor was going to kill him.
Well, I guess he saw him as a rival magician, right?
Jealous. Is very,
That's
very.
why he wanted to kill Harry.
Well, there was a lot of jealousy and possessiveness, but also Harry was trying to stop him from what he was doing. He was a barrier. He was creating this drug. He was doing all these things, and Harry was trying to stop him. And that's why he was "You're snooping around, butt out and get out of my way." So I think it was a combination of jealousy and Harry was becoming an impediment.
Well,
But
that's
also
just kind of
for
weird then, because that became like a major thing for him. Is that like he's going to kill me next? And
Well, it was just after his hair got stolen. And at that point, Vincent wasn't really Victor wasn't really a threat. He was just the case.
Yeah, but like they stole the hair so that he could kill Harry.
Yeah.
Right?
Yes.
So like the only reason he wanted to kill Harry was because he was jealous?
Well, I think he was butting in at that point because he'd butted in a lot. He'd talked to Marconi and Bianca and all of the suspects.
Yeah, I mean he was trying to capture him. Why did Marconi not want Harry to investigate the case?
That's a good question. I don't have an answer.
I think Marconi wanted to handle his own business.
Oh yeah, see, Laura just asked that.
I think it's because Marconi wanted to handle it himself.
Did it have something to do with the 3-eye?
I think
drug?
it did, and also he didn't want the cops involved.
Because like there was that suspected like 3-eye drug war between these two rival mobs, right? Yeah,
it's not really rival mobs. It's just Marconi and his crew versus Victor, I think.
yeah, Harry definitely did work with cops.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm just now like trying to put pieces together in my head of things that I remember like that, like what Laura was talking about, and like why did he want to kill Harry? That was sort of unclear to me. Why all of a sudden like Harry realized that he was a target, and then like because the guy was just jealous, doesn't make a lot of sense to me. Like, you know,
But
I
it
guess
wasn't just jealousy. It was also he was in the way.
Mm-hmm.
I do want to go back. Omaki, I'm sorry if I'm pronouncing your handle wrong, from YouTube. You're jumped.
that one.
Yes.
No, before that,
There's another one. Yeah.
she, whoever you are, they made a great point about how every discussion does end up being about food. We do talk about food all the time, and
Food is the
always end up
reason.
being super hungry after each discussion.
We are, yeah.
Yeah.
Food is the reason for anything.
But Jeff said that
Someone else made a great point. Where'd it go?
What were you saying?
Jeff said, remember the cops in this book? No, it's because they were useless too.
Yeah.
Well, there was only really one police officer. It was Murphy. Was the
Murphy
only
and her
Carmichael.
Carmichael was a
Was a
slob.
dud.
So but also Harry like made a point of saying how smart he was and how quick he was.
But he's also just like a douchebag.
And
could be both.
The cops would have been much more effective if their oh gosh, what's it called? Their informant or whatever. No, consultant had been more helpful and given them any information at all.
It's just Vicky.
Oh. I see what you're doing there.
Hi, Nikki.
Yeah,
We appreciate the YouTube viewership.
I liked Murphy.
No, I liked her too.
I did too. I think she has a lot of character growth, and she's a strong character that's got a good compass overall. I feel like, and
She's good. You can tell
Yeah.
she's a good person.
yeah,
I didn't understand her and Harry's relationship though, because at a couple of times Harry said they were friends or kind of friends, but they didn't act like friends to me.
Well, she flipped on him. Like that's what somebody said. I just put it on the screen. Rebecca said she flipped on him, and I didn't like that. I thought that was weird.
Yeah.
That she did that. But Leanne says,
She's
so
not
why did
really
that couple?
developed yet?
Why did that couple that wants to avenge the death of their kid, killed in the crossfire between Marconi and the Third Eye dealer, decide to join a magic sex cult with the creator of 3-Eye?
Was it?
It was for vengeance.
Was the crossfire involving the 3-Eye or Third Eye dealer? I thought it was just a Marconi thing when he was trying to take control.
It had, I think, less to do with, or I don't really remember the specifics around the drug, but it was for vengeance. It was because it was to kill the people responsible for the death of their child.
Yeah, but I think the question is why did they team up with the Third Eye guy if Third Eye was involved in their kids killing?
Victor was the one that offered them the opportunity for vengeance. They were the financial backers.
Yeah, because Victor didn't have the money.
So they had all the money and he had the plan.
But then he killed Linda I'm forgetting why.
Because she was friends
She was gonna
with.
gonna talk.
Oh, right. It's all coming back to me.
Well, and she even called the cops, the tip line.
It's true.
Sorry. Also, sorry, totally sidetracked. Someone earlier asked
The
about
VSC?
coyotes in Chicago. Yes, there are coyotes in downtown Chicago. If y'all didn't know that, they're like super. They're wild, but there's
Prevalent?
a lot of places in downtown Chicago where there's roaming packs of coyotes.
We're talking about the Beckett's, right? The vengeance.
Yes.
Yes, the Beckett.
Yes.
The VSC, as Matt is capitalizing it.
The soulless woman, or didn't she have like no personality behind her eyes?
No, her eyes were dead because she lost her child.
She lost her kid, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. So Linda was going to black. Okay, yeah, okay. All
Oh
right.
yeah. The blackmailing. That's right.
We're putting it all back together. Which brings me, we're past the hour mark. I think we should do, final thoughts here, which brings me to mind. And that, like, this was, it was enjoyable. I'm not going to say I didn't enjoy it. I had problems with it, but like as a read, it flowed nicely. It wasn't too deep. It was easy for me to follow, even during the times where I was just like exhausted and like literally falling asleep while trying to read, which was a few times. But it was. I like the change of pace. Last month's book was nice and big and heady, and made me think a lot. I like that too, but this is a good, just sort of like, popcorn flick of a book. And
sometimes you just want Arby's.
Sometimes you just got to get that bacon, or no, the cheddar, whatever. I don't know. I haven't eaten Arby's.
It's not good for you.
Beef and cheddar.
Beef and cheddar.
Beef and cheddar.
And
The little
like, you
onions
might
on the
not
bun.
feel great
Yeah,
after,
it's
but
good.
sometimes you just don't.
Jeff says Stormfront had pages with words and was definitely a book.
Oh, Jeff.
Oh, Jeff.
So I've read. This is my second time reading it.
I want Arby's, Nikki. I want mozzarella sticks really bad, but I don't leave my house. Okay?
Also, this live stream brought to you by Arby's. I'm thinking Arby's.
We have the meat.
I just want some.
But yeah, it was a fun. It was a quick. It went fast. It was fun. It was engaging for all of its problems, and its sort of ill-developed characters and well-developed characters and plot holes, and it was what it was. Am I going to read would I, if I were a reader of if I could do more than one book a month?
Yeah.
Just answer as you.
Would I read the second book? I don't know. Maybe if I was, if I needed something to read at the beach or something. But I'm not super invested in the world of Harry Dresden yet. That's my thoughts.
Potato.
All right, Christy, what about you?
This is your second time, right?
Yes, I literally just said that.
I heard it now.
But yes, this is my second time reading it. The first time I really liked it and I kept reading. Got through the second book. This time I was more aware of some of the issues, but I still enjoyed it. And I think that it's a really great introduction to the world and the characters. And sure, it has its flaws, but I mean, I'm going to keep going. So
Good, because I want to talk about it. I feel like I made my thoughts pretty clear earlier. So
well, we know what we need to do if we want Donna to read more.
Get some old man's
okay,
work
Adam.
going.
Like, wait until your birthday.
I overlooked a lot of the flaws in this, and for me it was a perfect, like, if I went to the beach every year and I read one of these, I'd probably be content. And I'm hopeful that some of the shortcomings, like I said, I forgive it. It's a first novel, but I had fun. I needed that pacing. I needed that kind of click clack. Let's get in. Let's make some stuff happen. Pacing. So yeah, will I read more eventually? But I'm like Adam. I can only really do one book a month right now. So yeah, it's definitely ranks a little bit higher in my list of all the literally wasted books that we've read.
Can you stick some in my mailbox?
Scalise's going to get some beef and cheddars.
Yeah.
Yes. Fun fluff.
Fluff read. Yeah, perfect, Caitlin.
And Talia, for your second read, what'd you think? Or is this your second time reading
Or
it?
third or fourth?
Yes. No, it was my second. It's not great, but I do love the series. So, what? I obviously did enjoyed it more the first time. But yeah, no, there are definitely moments in it where I'm just kind of but I really do enjoy the rest of the series. I enjoy where it goes. I have those downstairs. Love me some apple cider.
I think he's a fun character, and look, flaws and all, he's got personality, like Adam said earlier, and
it's an annoying personality.
But he's a character, and so
that annoying. It's just like me. I'm very aware that I have a very obnoxious personality, but like Harry Dresden, you don't have to. It's fine. But like Harry Dresden, after time, you start to kind of really like him, and maybe that's just part of his charm, right? Eventually, you're he's kind of endearing, and you're Harry. I feel like that's me, and I feel I'm not gonna say my name because none of y'all need
Thalia.
to say it, right?
Talia.
No, that's not.
Go ahead, Chris.
I do love that Harry Dresden seems like a real person. He has flaws and strengths, and I really, really appreciate that.
Yes.
So what's next?
What's next is Recursion.
Hey, by Blake.
Sci-fi.
September, and our discussions, which are in the video, you can go find it. But in the video, we talk about how discussion one, is September 16th. We'll talk about the first half up to book something. It's in the video. And then on September 30th, the last day of the month, I can find it. It's in the middle. And we did a pretty good job because I had it.
Oh, Jeff, please make that thread.
So September 16th and 30th, mark your calendars for those 2 days. We'll talk about the first half up to book 3, and then the second half and the rest of it.
Yeah, Jeff, I agree. Post that into the group, and we'll get comments going. If we could get everyone to read one book.
And I'm going to add all of the books to the Literarily Wasted list.
No, for sure. Yeah. Everyone knows what Adam's answer is, Vicky.
What is my answer? Is it Old Man's World? Because I haven't read it. I don't know how to convince you to read it because I haven't read it. You should read it because it sounds awesome.
So, what other announcements do we have? I have an announcement.
We can't really tell you much of details, but just stay tuned. Keep an eye on our page.
Adventures in Reading is coming back. That's the announcement.
Yeah, and I will say
it's going to be really vague.
It has something to do with DragonCon. We can't say something specific.
I wasn't gonna say that.
I wasn't gonna say that either.
It's a real thing. It's happening.
We
don't have games. It's not scheduled, but it's a thing that's happening.
We're talking to them. We're trying to work out something to do some special DragonCon stuff. So just stay tuned. We're still talking about it, but as soon as we have something specific to announce.
Yeah, we're talking multiple things. So
some literally wasted DragonCon stuff. So
yeah.
Sorry, Julie asked a good question. It's a standalone.
Oh,
it's a standalone, you guys.
We did that for you. We did that for all of you.
Anything after it. Finally.
Also, I know we've been mentioning this, but if you like what we do at Literarily Wasted, go check out our Geek Word Game Club, because right now we have a poll for September's Game of the Month, and we're going to play an action RPG. And I know there's a little bit of crossover from our book club to our Literarily Wasted fam, but
you and Adam. I'm just kidding.
But we'd love to have more people join us. It'd be a lot of fun.
Yeah, we like to play games.
Yeah, we like to play games.
But yeah,
cool.
Yeah, that's fun.
Boom, 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 boom. Yeah.
I hear y'all talking about video games in the basement.
Yeah.
So,
Game club.
Leanne asked, are y'all doing a panel? I don't know. It might be more interactive than that. It might be something we've done. Maybe something new. We're talking to them.
Yeah,
we literally don't know yet.
Yeah, we've thrown out some ideas, and they've come at us with some ideas, and we're just refining it. So Hopefully, we'll know something by the end of the week because they want to try to make the schedule this weekend because that's coming up. That's like 2 weekends from
2
now.
weeks. Yeah, no, I mean less than 2 weeks. So Labor Day weekend.
This is the first full weekend of September.
So yes, we will definitely let you know, but we are in conversation, and it's going to be fun and exciting.
I think we can all agree with Caitlin Boggs that we at least enjoyed anything we've read lately more than Hard Boiled.
Yeah,
I don't know. She's talking about recursion.
She's talking about recursion. Yeah, you guys are getting me excited. Everyone seems to like the first couple of pages.
Yeah, you're really hyping
chapter.
it up.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'm excited.
Yeah.
I think it's gonna be good. And science fiction.
Yeah. About time.
Wait, Emily. Emily says we should play the Dresden Files cooperative card game on Switch. Is that an actual thing, Emily?
Post it in the lounge.
I literally have my Switch right here.
Cooperative card game? I'm looking it up.
Oh, can you wait till the stream is over?
I mean, we're still talking about the
come
book.
on. You just
This is a book thing.
give it a minute. Fine, we'll post something in the lounge. We'll find it. No.
Okay. Is that it?
I think that's it.
Final thought.
I'll post something about the game club. I would love to have as many people that want to jump in. And look, it was a bit of a comfort zone thing for me and Adam to jump into a book club. So I would invite you guys to take a little bit of a leap and come hang out with us because it's some of the same people and it's really positive and fun. And we just geek out about video games over there. So
Yeah,
I'm trying to get Talia.
We played Mario Kart on Monday and it was awesome.
Yeah, so every Monday night we have club play, and so we stream a game that's multiplayer, and we had 9 different club members playing Mario Kart, and we started a Discord thanks to Michael Thaxton, and so we were all chatting on Discord. We were playing Mario Kart, and it was a ton of fun. So again, I'll post something there, but we invite you guys to partake in that if it's at all of an interest, or if you have somebody that you think likes Literally Wasted and may like video games, invite them. Yeah.
But stay tuned for some potential announcements about DragonCon. We're excited, hopefully. So
We are excited.
we are excited. We just want things to formulate. We want to have
It's gonna happen.
It'll
It's in the
happen.
works.
It's in the works. But anyway, thank y'all for hanging out with us tonight. We enjoyed it. It was a fun discussion. Recursion next month.
Yeah.
DragonCon's coming up. Maybe we'll see you there.
Be sure. I know we've gotten a few comments from club members that say y'all forget about the discussions. Totally fair. Scheduling, calendars, world is crazy. Get it. I do whenever I update the cover photos on social media after a discussion. So like tomorrow after I make them, the new cover photos with recursion dates and info will go up on all of our social media channels. Twitter, well, Instagram doesn't have one, but YouTube and Facebook. I also create Facebook events after I do those cover photos that'll have the discussion dates. So if you actually RSVP to those events, even though this is an online event, but if you go ahead and say that you're going or you click those, it'll usually notify you and be like, hey, this event is coming up soon. So it'll just remind you. So if you want to do that for those of you who are, a little more forgetful, it's like a simple, easy thing you could do and you'll just get a Facebook notification.
This is how you pronounce Jay's last name.
Toonsvik.
I just now figured out what that was.
Toonsvik.
I'm not.
Jay
I'm a
Toonsvik.
little behind.
That's cool.
He's a Viking.
Well, thank you all so much for hanging out with us.
These are my
Lit Fam is awesome as always. We'll see you soon. Bye.
Have a beautiful time.
Have a good time.